Adam here with Brooksaw Antiques. Today we have this 1971 Olivetti Lettera 32 vintage ultra portable typewriter. I'm going to show you how to use the functions and make sure they all work. This one was made in Spain, but they originated in Italy, and they had two plants, one in Italy, one in Spain during this time. And the only difference between the two is the color of the shell, which the Spain version is a greener color and the Italy version is a more blue color. And this is one of the top typewriters of all time. A lot of people do rank this as number one if you like a light touch. If you don't like a light touch, then you might not rank this in the top five, but you still would appreciate the engineering if you don't like the touch. It feels like you're typing on a laptop with this. It feels super modern. It's about the most modern typewriter you can get. It looks good. This is the more refined version of the Olivetti Lettera 22, which won multiple awards for its technology, and a little bit more chiseled um, versus the 22, which is more round. And that one, I don't think they made those in Spain. I could be wrong, but I think they only had that one color, which is the bluer color. Up top of the margins, this is the left margin. I'm going to set that on 0 and the right one around 75. And this is the paper support arm that flips up from the back. And this is the paper bail that sits on top. Got two adjustable rollers and a scale. Holds the page down nice and tight. Once you hear the bell, you're near the end of the margin. Hit the line space, get you back to the beginning, and skips 1, 2, or 3. Right now we have it on single, which skips 2 half spaces when you have it on single. When you have it on double, it skips 3 half spaces. When you have it on triple, it skips 4 half spaces. We're going to keep that on single for now and finish typing. As you can see, all the keys type nice and none of them skip or stick. I'll type a sentence in red on the next line. Switch from black to red. There's a switch on the right side. Flip that down to the red indicator. It prints the bottom portion of the ribbon, which is red. When you have it on the white indicator, it prints no ink at all. It just leaves a stencil. For copying purposes, when you have it up top in the blue indicator, it prints the top portion of the ribbon, which is black. We're going to move that down for red. Beautiful. Super light touch and smooth. They really did some genius engineering on this machine. The print looks really good. It's always super precise and lined. Pica typeface prints 10 characters per inch. So they somehow, when they designed this in the 22 as well, they did more with less. Like it has less parts and like less screws and bolts and everything in it than the more refined machines. And it's better off for doing that. It's almost like when you look at the space shuttle, the SpaceX space shuttle. If you look at the first 3 versions of it, it's just wires and like tubes going everywhere. And then like the last version, it's super clean, like less parts. That's how this was designed, like that. It's genius engineering. And these were started in the 1950s. So for that time era, this is top of the line technology. To pull the page out easier, there's a switch on the right side. Flip that forward. It unlocks the rollers underneath the platen, allowing you to pull the page out easier. Load thicker paper like carbon copy or cardstock. Make sure you flip that back before you load the next page, or else it won't load correctly. I'm going to flip this down for now and put the color back on black. So if you know anything about the Olivetti brand, they merged with Underwood, and they took the same guts from this 32 and put it into different shells. There's like 20 to 30 different variations of this, and this is the original, and this is the most popular one. Not only because of its function and performance, but the look of it. It's just super, um, I want to say sexy. It's a sexy looking machine. All right, we got a shift on each side, a shift lock on the left. To clear that, just hit the shift button again. This button on the top left is not supposed to be the 1 key. The 1 key is the lowercase l on traditional typewriters, and the exclamation point is the shift 8, which is the apostrophe, backspace it, and period underneath. So this is your margin release. When you get to the end of the margin, there's a mechanism that blocks you from printing. Hit that margin release. It does allow you to type past that block all the way to the end. And to the left of that is your set and clear on your tabs. Right now we have tabs set on 10 space intervals, so I'm just going to clear each one of them by flipping the switch down. There's a C and an S to tell you which is clear and which one is set. And if you have an Olivetti Lettera 22, it's the opposite direction. It's up to clear and down to set. So now we shouldn't have any tabs. It does have a good tab break, but I always like to set a tab somewhere in the middle, so that way when you hit the tab button, it doesn't go slamming all the way to the end, causing wear and tear on your typewriter by flipping the switch up. So down to clear, up to set, and it just stops at that spot. This is your tab button, unmistakable red button. A lot of times it doesn't have the tab written on it, it just has a red button. All right, backspace, everything is super light and smooth. And that should be it with the keyboard. We're going to pop the hood open from the front here. Hooks into the back. This is cast iron, so you want to be careful. If you try to lift this from the back too hard, it could break these hooks, and then you can't fix it basically. So you got to get that replaced if you do that. All the brand, this has special spools. You can replace these with the universals as long as you keep these nuts, and you can still buy those. People remanufacture those and sell those on eBay. Um, all the brand new ribbons loaded on the left side, so it pulls to the right. If you want to switch that direction manually, the side that you want it to go to, you just move this little ribbon guide towards the middle on either side. And that's meant to catch the eyelet at the end of the ribbon, which is a little metal piece, and it swaps it automatically. So you don't have to actually go in there and change the direction unless you have a problem. And these were originally serviced with grease. So if it hasn't been reserviced without grease, then a lot of times that automatic reverse gets stuck and you just have to clean it out. So it's a common issue with these. All the Letteras, even the 22s and the 45s and all those have that issue because the reverse is super sophisticated and light. So if it has any kind of resistance, it won't trip right. So we want it to come to this side. Very good. We're going to hook this back in like this, the hooks first, and then snap it down on the front. Carriage release. This is another issue that these have a lot because it's so light and I want to say sophisticated the way it's designed. If you look in here, it has two mechanisms. When you trip it, it has to trip this one and it's connected to a spring, and that locks the carriage in the middle. And if you ship these, or if you let this bang around too much, it can bend that. And when that happens, it'll get stuck in either the down or in the up position. And that's a very common issue because it's so thin and light that a lot of times if you ship these that with the lock engaged, it will bend that, and then you have a problem with that. You can bend it back into shape or remove it, but it's not that easy to fix because it's so thin. Any kind of small bend will cause that to have problems. Carriage release on both sides. So I don't even use that, by the way. Just I don't even use the carriage unless you just want to center the carriage and then unlock it. Um, I just I'm just very careful when I have these in the case, and I just make sure that they're not being banged around unless I ship them. When I ship them with the carriage releases engaged in shrink wrap. This is your line space selector, and it swivels back so when you have it in a case, it doesn't break off and it flattens it. Now these you could replace the handle, but if you break this, the part that breaks is on the inside. This is made out of cast aluminum, so if that breaks, then it's insanely hard to replace. Not only do you have to find the part, but to get in there, you have to remove the plaid, and there's a pin in there that's extremely hard to get out, especially when they're old, because they don't just pop right out. You have to get them a really thin punch, and it's a nightmare. So protect your line space selector by flipping that back. All right. If you move the line space, actually this is the line space return, this is the line space selector. If you move that all the way back to 0, disables the spacing so you can get to an exact spot on the page. You move it forward to the 1, you get the clicks. Each one of those clicks is a half a space, and if you have it in between the 0 and the 1, it'll skip just a half a space instead of 2 when you have it on the 1. This is the same concept. If you push it in, it disables the spacing, you let it go, you get those clicks. Each one of those clicks is a half space. And that's it. Now available on eBay or Etsy or my new website, brooksawantiques.com.